plumb the booster pump up to the membrane input. So in the Deluxe kit, and you're going to get this little adapter to adapt from 1/2 inch to 3/8, and just put that right in the input of the membrane fitting all the way. You do not need a high pressure clip on this fitting. This fitting is a hard plastic stem as opposed to a tubing connection, and so you don't need high pressure clips on the stem connections, but on the tubing connection you do. So let's put the tubing in. Again, we'll put in a high pressure clip like that. This is the membrane input. It's going to get connected to the pump output. So the high pressure output of the pump is 3/8. The input's 1/2 inch, so you can't screw this up. And it's also labeled out. So we're just going to put that tube in here. It's a little long for me. Let's just shorten that up a little bit. And put that in the high pressure side. Once again, another high pressure clip. And now the output of the booster pump is plumbed into the membrane input. When you get a Deluxe or even a GX1000, this tube from the carbon filter, which feeds the carbon to the membrane, it's a normal carbon output to the membrane input, is disconnected. On a Deluxe, you don't use this tube. And the reason it's disconnected is because you need to flush these carbon filters before you hook it up to a pump or a membrane. The carbon filters are really dusty when you first start them up, and you got to rinse that out, and we're going to do that and show you. So on a Deluxe, and by the way, there are warning tags here saying this KDF carbon filter must be flushed thoroughly before feeding into a pump or membrane. And it's a good idea to leave them on the filter. But we're going to pull this tube out of the standard GX1000, and we're going to put it aside because we don't need it. Now we're going to plumb in some feed water to this RO. We have the drain plumbed in, we've got the RO going to its reservoir, sink in this case. Now it's time to hook up the feed water. We're going to use 1/2 inch CTS tubing. A lot of people call this PEX tubing. PEX is a brand name, but it's really CTS size tubing, copper tube size. 1/2 inch CTS tubing is the minimum spec really for this unit. We much prefer 3/4 inch tubing or 3/4 inch pipe. If you're going to use a garden hose, which we never recommend, at least a garden hose that is 3/4 or 1 inch with a 1/2 inch inner diameter. The reason I'm saying this is the bigger the input plumbing, the better. You don't want to have this high output water filter connected to a piece of 3-inch tubing on the input. You just won't get enough water flowing through this unit. You're going to run out of pressure, the pump's going to be cycling on and off. It's not going to work. So again, this is the smallest diameter tubing I would ever hook up one of these units with, which is 1/2 inch CTS. I much prefer 3/4 or 1 inch. But we have a lot of water pressure here, so we don't have to go bigger. And we're going to show you 1/2 inch now. Now we've got a whole line of these quick connect CTS sized fittings in our warehouse, and they're available online, and they're available to all the stores and our dealers. And these are my favorite fittings in the world for running up plumbing. I'm going to install it on the input of this solenoid valve. Give it a few turns of the wrench. Once again, don't tighten it too much. If you want to learn more about these PEX, the CTS size fittings and how they work, there's a video in the tech section on CTS style plastic fittings. You should check that out because these are really cool. I won't explain it now, but go to the tech section, there's a video on it. Okay, now we're plumbed in.